Hey everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Obsession, the podcast. We're here at the Record Parlor in Los Angeles, California, with professional wrestler and musician Frankie Kazarian. Frankie just finished picking out his top 5 albums, and we're going to talk to him about his favorites on Vinyl Obsession, the podcast. Hey guys, I'm Eric Young, and this is Vinyl Obsession, the podcast. This is Frankie Kazarian. Frankie Kazarian began his career in 1998 and performed on several independent wrestling promotions before being signed to TNA Wrestling in 2003. He is a 4-time X Division champion and 3-time World Tag Team champion. Frankie is also the bass player for the band Gutter Candy. Anthem Zone, Impact Zone, TNA Zone, Gutter Candy Zone.
The one and only. I belong to a lot of people.
Yeah, jack of all trades, yes. Man. Now, we brought you here to the Record Parlor in LA, which, cool, your first time here, you've obviously heard about it.
Oh, God, yeah.
Iconic record store, right here in Los Angeles, a place that you've called home for most of your life.
Yes.
We gave you the impossible task of picking out a top 5, right? It's impossible. It's impossible. But you did it. You got through it.
Yep.
You found some beauties. We're going to go through, no particular order, break this down.
This place was unbelievable. Let me start by saying that. Just like, you know, I've heard about this place forever. Just it exceeds expectations.
Vinyl number 1.
Let's start with her.
Here we go.
Back in Black. ACDC again. I know, you know, this is one of those polarizing bands that have, you know, like are you a Dave or a Sammy guy? Are you a Bon Scott or you a Brian Johnson guy? And like, I've always made the argument, like, why do I have to choose one?
You don't have to.
Both have incredible, you know, records. Both have you know, their own unique voice. This record in particular, for me, the reason I picked it is because it's the first kind of ACDC I was exposed to. Just, you know, like, I knew who they were because they were super popular. But with this record, you know, took them to another level.
Yep.
You know, people can say what they want about the Bon Scott era, and I love every one of those records, but this album is what kind of put them in that other hemisphere.
Superstar.
Yeah, 100%. Favorite track on this is probably Shoot to Thrill.
Yep.
Again, you can't pick a bad song. Like I said, maybe a perfect record.
Yep.
If there is such a thing, my opinion. But yeah, just it's still in my rotation to this day. You know, it's
all right. So transport me, because music can do this.
Yes.
First time you hear one of those. First time you hear Shoot to Thrill. Where are you? How old are you?
So when this came out, I would have only been 2 or 3 years old. So I obviously wasn't listening to it then.
Yep.
But probably,
first time you heard it.
Probably 6 or 7 years old, and I would have been, you know, I probably heard this at a buddy's house who had older brothers who were playing this, you know, ACDC type records, that genre, and just one that, like, I don't know if it was, you know, Brian's voice or Angus's guitar or what it was, just that opening, wow, like that just got me. Wow, this is cool, you know, and just, you know, at the end he's going, shoot, man, and he's just like gets higher and higher, there's that angst building up, just, you know, that captured something in me, you know. And then, of course, the song Back in Black also just, like I said, my high school wrestling team, we were black and gold. We came out to, I wasn't on the wrestling team. I was a small, skinny kid in the stands, not on the wrestling team. But they came out to Back in Black, and I always thought that was so, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty intimidating. Yeah. You know, we had, you know, not a lot of wrestling teams had walkout music, and they'd run out. And another thing, this band, they like transcend, like, there's like no, like, you can't put an AC/DC fan in a box. You know, there's like doctors and lawyers and like businessmen that are probably now into their 70s that are, you know, grew up giant, and there's young kids and there's punk rockers, and it's like their band kind of like Motorhead. It's just like everybody likes them from every type of walk of life. You know, there's a lot of bands like that. Usually, like, you have a type of fan, but like, there's, you know, everybody, it seems everybody's an AC/DC fan, and they should be.
As they should be.
And they should be,
Excellent choice.
It should be mandatory.
An amazing band, an amazing album. Vinyl number 2.
Again, I know, you know, the circles I walk in, I'm known as like kind of the rock guy, the heavy metal guy, but, you know, a good record's a good record. A good song's a good song, be it country, folk, R&B, hip hop, metal, you know. classical. This, again, like I said, this record came out at a time when I was like, all right, I'm done with the hip hop stuff. I'm kind of, I'm all immersed. I'm all into Metallica. I'm into Pantera. I'm into like heavier stuff. And back in the day, it was like, again, you kind of had to be one or the other. You couldn't be like, you weren't allowed to like this.
Or you felt that way when you're younger.
You felt that way, yeah. It just, there was this weird pressure kind of that we probably put on ourselves. But it was like, oh, you're either like a Hessian, a heavy metal kid, or you're a punk, or you're a rap kid, But this came out and it's like, you can't, you can't not like it. You can't, the videos, it again, a game changer of an album for the hip hop community. The introduction of Snoop Dogg and look at the run he's had.
Right. One of the most recognizable human beings on the planet.
100%, exactly. And, let's not forget Dr. Dre discovered him the same way he did with, Eminem, who also in that same vein, another one of my favorite hip hop artists, Eminem. I could have picked an Eminem record.
Yep.
But yeah, just this, and it's like the video, I can't listen to this record without thinking of the videos and them opening up. I remember watching the video of them open up the fridge and there's just nothing but 40s. And I was like, someday when I have my own place, my fridge is going to look like that,
just
man.
Like that.
It's going to look like, I'm still working on that too, man. I can do that one now, though. I have the ability.
Yeah.
Showing much flex when it's time to wreck a mic. Pippin' hoes and clacking a grip like my name was Dolomite. Yeah, and it don't quit. I think they in the mood for another one of those G hits.
With this record, there's like little skits in between, like there's one like the $20 sack pyramid. It's guys are playing like a game show, but they're playing for a $20 sack of chronic and a $35 gift certificate to the Compton swap scene.
It's hilarious.
It's
right as a kid.
So it's like, again, this is a record you put on and you have to listen to the whole thing because it's like almost kind of tells a story, but
Awesome choice.
Last year, there was a time in my career where I had to make a pretty important decision. That song, that lyric resonated with me so much. So this record is still, touching me to this day.
This is Vinyl Obsession, the podcast, and we're back with professional wrestler and musician Frankie Kazarian. All right, number 3. Final number 3.
So here we go. Again, there's a few artists, Metallica, very famous, Tom Petty, very famous, ACDC, and I picked the records that might not be what's considered their best record.
Sure.
Or might, not universally loved as the favorite.
But we're doing your top 5.
Exactly.
Yeah, not my top 5.
Right. Damn the Torpedoes is, probably the masterpiece, Tom Petty. I don't know though, but this record, again, Tom Petty without the Heartbreakers and, just a real different, it's still rock, but folk,
Americana.
Yeah, exactly. Singer-songwriter stuff. The song Wildflowers that opens the record is such a pretty song. It's just, again, one of those, talk about music taking us places, one of those songs that, if I'm having, not the best day, you put on that song, it's like, it just,
hard to feel bad.
Bob Marley records do that to me too. I could have also put a Bob Marley record, Legends in this, Time to Move On, that song, Time to Move On, Time to Get Going, What Lies Ahead, I Have No Way of Knowing, Under My Feet, The Grass is Growing.
Yep.
Last year, there was a time in my career where I had to make a pretty important decision. Yep. That song, that lyric resonated with me so much. So this record is still, touching me to this day. Favorite track on this is a song called Honeybee.
Oh yeah.
That's where, it's just that riff is so, just that wow, what a great, that's probably like the hardest song on this record.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I wouldn't hurt my little honey now.
Tom's singing on this record, might be, he might have been at his peak. His voice sounds
vocally his best.
So good. Yeah.
And he doesn't have like a traditional,
not
what I would say powerhouse vocal.
No, kind of nasally, a little Bob Dylan-y, yeah. But like on this, like just
perfect.
Yeah.
For him.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He sounds like Tom Petty. That's but yeah, like on this, there's just some of the harmonies and the melodies that they have is just, it's bringing you to tears almost. Just a beautiful record. you know, and I remember, you know, the video for You Don't Know How It Feels, and he's talking about, you know, let's roll another joint. And there's kind of got a theme going. We got like,
I'm starting to pick up
so,
down here a little bit. Now, something I know in your band, you play bass guitar.
Yes.
Now, I know that there's bass guitar in all of these.
Yes.
But it's not bass driven, any of these first three albums.
No.
Now, is how a bass is played, or the bass in an album or in a song or in a band, is that something that pulls you towards a band?
Yes. I wanted to play bass because I was a big fan of Lemmy from Motorhead, Cliff Burton from Metallica, and going way away from that genre, Stu Cook, who was the bass player for Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yep.
The bass on those albums, I don't know if it's just tone or something, but it just, that really, I was like, I want to play, you know, and I looked up, who's this guy, Stu Cook, and I was like, Stu Cook plays great bass guitar, and he does. If you listen to the bass on Creedence records, it's really cool. And again, I didn't pick a Creedence record because, you know, I had to pick five.
I pick the greatest hits. It's not against the rules.
It's allowed. But so to answer your question, but like, you know, obviously, like Lemmy's got his own sound. Cliff Burton, a virtuoso, there'll never be another one like him. Stu Cook was just kind of like a pocket, you know, a bass player, but just had such great timing and great tone and just, you know, perfect bass player for that band. But I'm always, you know, I always listen to songs, and I always, you know, being a bass player, I always listen to the bass first. Yes. If it's in the mix enough. But that's, you know, kind of what I, you know, and then I'll listen to everything else afterward. These guys, I mean, got 24 years old, 23 years old.
Right.
And they're writing songs like Master of Puppets.
Yeah, I could barely dress myself.
Right, exactly. That's exactly my point.
Welcome back to Vinyl Obsession, the podcast. Today, we have wrestler Frankie Kazarian talking about his top 5 vinyl. Vinyl number 4.
Speaking of Cliff Burton, last album he appeared on, Master of Puppets. You know, this is, a lot of people consider this, I guess, so this would be the one exception. A lot of people do consider this Metallica's masterpiece.
Yep.
I would probably agree with that too. The Black Album has a special place in my heart, but this is probably my favorite Metallica record. It changes by the day, but this is pretty consistent. The song Orion, which is an instrumental, that composition, that piece of music was basically written by Cliff Burton. And, you know, again, this album is especially important because he passed away in September, the year this was released. So last album featuring Cliff Burton.
Yep.
But just what a record, greatest thrash record ever.
Yeah.
I mean, you
believe that, like, in your
100%.
core.
You can't. Yeah.
And that's something like other people have said. Like, you're not making that up or pulling it out of thin air. Like,
no.
It is considered that.
Maybe universally. You know, you could put a Slayer record up there too, but like it just, you know, just these guys. I mean, God, I don't know what they were like. 24 years old, 23 years old,
right? And
they're writing songs like Master of Puppets.
Yeah, I could barely dress myself.
Right, exactly. That's exactly my point. 23 years old, I did not have my crap together whatsoever. These guys put this album out.
Right.
Blows my mind. I got into Metallica right after getting into Guns N' Roses, and then immediately did the deep dive and started reading about, you know, Metallica, and everything was Master of Puppets, because again, even back then it was universally, you know, acclaimed as
best.
So I went and listened to it, and just so, you know, I would have been, you know, very early, 12, 13, you know, and 13, 14, whatever. And just like, wow, like these guys, you know, as great as the Black Album is and was, this was even like better, you know, different, you know. It was like, I know there's some people who are like, oh, I only like old Metallica. I like all Metallica, you know, because every album has incredible music on it. Yeah, this just, you know, again, Battery, best opener ever of a thrash record. Master of Puppets, an epic song, 8 minutes long. You know, it's just a thing that should not be. One of the heaviest songs they've written to this day. You know, Sanitarium, that's another ballad. Welcome Home, Sanitarium. Disposable Heroes, again, they're talking about that, like, you know, about young men going to war. That's another thing. They were talking about like pretty important issues, you know,
Yep.
Like Master of Puppets is about addiction, and addiction being your puppet master, and Disposable Heroes is about being sent to war and dying at a young age for a cause that you don't necessarily believe in. Yeah.
Yep.
Leper Messiah, same thing. Like Orion, Damage Incorporated, just an incredible record. Just
a lot of the best rock music has that political message or that
since day one.
Whatever.
That's been rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's almost been, fight the system.
Yep.
Buck the system. The same thing, Elvis was banned for shaking his hips.
Right.
So it's like, it's always kind of, fighting the man. It's always kind of that, still to this day, that mentality, It's.
Yep. Now, Metallica is always Metallica. They're above rock and roll, right? Like I would say that. I think like they're like their own thing. But in your opinion, like that's them in their purest form.
That's just, that's, again, them with Cliff Burton, the 4 original guys.
Yep.
And the thing about that, they had Jason Newsted, who I love and respect, and Rob Trujillo, who's a bass player now, who I also love and respect. They've had 3 of the greatest metal bass players in their band.
Not bad.
But yeah, this is just the essential, if aliens landed and wanted to hear Metallica, I would give them this record,
That's fair.
And that could happen. I was literally obsessed with this. I had it on tape, I had it on record and on tape, and I would put it on record and I would just let it play, turn it over, let it play. When I had it on tape, just be in my room doing nothing, playing with toys or just whatever. This was always on. Always on.
Welcome back to Vinyl Obsession, the podcast. We have wrestler Frankie Kazarian talking about his top 5 vinyl. Vinyl number 5.
First things first, this shocked me when I picked this up because I haven't seen this actual album cover in a long time, because this was, for those that don't know, this was banned because it has a monster alien that is just fornicated with a woman, real bad.
Yep.
So that's
the one that most people know.
And again, iconic. Maybe the greatest record cover ever.
Yep.
So I was almost taken aback. I was like, wow, I haven't seen this actual, this one in print forever. But anyway, Appetite for Destruction. So I was in 6th grade, and at that time I'm listening to the Beastie Boys and Run DMC, and I I liked Foreigner, and I liked Michael Jackson, big Michael Jackson fan. I like rock, poppy stuff.
Yep.
Then this record comes out and blows me away.
Yeah.
Just, what is this?
Nothing sounds like that.
Nothing.
At that point.
No, nobody looked like that.
Yep.
And again, the video Welcome to the Jungle, and you see the Sunset Strip right out here.
Yeah.
And you see like the Roxy and the Whiskey and the Rainbow. It's, wow, these are just scummy guys from here singing about it, but like it was a real kind of kick in the ass to rock and roll at the time, because it was just, these guys were real. This came out in a lot of, bands like Poison and Motley Crue, who I'm a fan of, but image-wise, those guys were very pretty and very glam and very into that. These guys came out, looked like they did, but having said that, look at Slash. That's, again, you talk about the most recognizable human beings in the world. He's probably right up there also.
Yep.
In addition to being one of the best guitarists ever. But so this, I always say this is my favorite record ever, and it's my gateway record into the world of hard rock, heavy metal. And because of this record, a buddy of mine gave me a cassette tape of And Justice for All from Metallica, because he said, if you like this, you'll like this. And I listened, I was like, wow, I do. And it was all because I used to wear Guns N' Roses shirts every day. When I was in grade school, I wore a Guns N' Roses shirt, a different one, every day to school. Because I was literally obsessed with this. I had it on tape, I had it on record and on tape, and I would put it on record and I would just let it play, turn it over, let it play.
Yep.
When I had it on tape, just be in my room doing nothing, playing with toys or just whatever. This was always on.
Yep.
Always on.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. How do we know the name?
Guns N' Roses, unbelievable. Appetite for Destruction, unbelievable. It's the top 5 list is solid. I know it's an impossible task, right? We talked about this. We've been friends for a long time. Humming and hawing about it.
Yes, it's impossible, but I managed.
I know that you have a band. You just said you lost the drummer,
Yeah.
which is heartbreaking and terrible.
Yeah.
But it's been a passion of yours.
Yeah.
You've been doing this, the band thing, for a while, right? It's obviously, it's this passion project for you.
Yeah.
So tell us where people can find it, if you guys are going to be playing soon.
Yeah, we're called Gutter Candy. Like you said, we're gonna, we could be found on all platforms. We actually we're putting our record together. We actually want to release it on vinyl. That's kind of a dream of ours, just because we're all fans of vinyl.
Yep.
And we want to do that later this year. But we're on all the, all of our social media is just Gutter Candy. It's very simple. And we're a bar band. We're a band that we love going out and playing, and we got to do some cool stuff. We got to do like a cruise last year, which was really cool. And, introducing wrestling fans to this music, and then they become fans of it, which is pretty cool. I love playing live gigs, in a dingy little bar just as much as I love performing in a wrestling ring.
Yep. Man, this has been great. The
Awesome,
top 5
man.
is amazing. Guys, thank you for watching Vinyl Obsession, the podcast. I'm Eric Young. He's Frankie Kazarian. I'm obsessed. He's obsessed. And now you are too.